Hello everybody, Shane1288 here with another episode of RSBANDB Updates Supplemental. This episode here is to discuss something that we'll be talking a bit about this week, perhaps on RSBANDB Update. But in the meantime, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things with regards to how the vote for Legacy Combat is going. First things first, I'm not here to tell you how specifically to vote. Mainly, I just want to show you what's going on with the vote, where it's at. Something questionable that I noticed when I was told about a certain way the vote reacts if you've not used the polling system before, and some samples of the excellent feedback that has been posted in the forums. So let's begin. Well, so here we are on an account that hasn't used the voting system in quite some time. Actually, never. So if we go down here to the voting system in the community tab, we'll see that we're offered the ability to subscribe, which, okay, we don't want to do that. But this account has been created before January 2013. And look at what we have right here. We have a vote now option that is specifically hovering over the yes, add legacy mode option. So while we have to assume that people have their own mind and can decide whether or not they want to actually vote yes. This does suggest a bit of inherent bias with any sort of statistical polling that you're doing. You want to try and be as accurate as you can be. And this is definitely going to sway some people, not that many, towards voting yes. So we just click that away, and then we have a choice of either yes or no. Alright, so the second thing I wanted to highlight was the lack of feedback that appears in the forums. And I'm going to do this by talking a bit about what we actually see on the forums. But first of all, this was highlighted earlier in the week by Tanis, one of our Informer writers, in which he talked about the need to get it right this time in the way we didn't with the evolution in combat. So the title of this thread is, as a pre-EOC player, I vote no. Named by this fellow here with a rather interesting name. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but anyways, that's beside the point. So he goes into saying that he's going to vote no because, well, first off, there's some things that he wants. So the first one is 100% protection prayer. Why do you need this? Have you even attempted to actually engage in any combat? We get on just fine in the PVM world with 50% prayer. It's actually too easy for most bosses, aside from harder ones like the Pk'ing and Virago, which actually do require a bit of a brain to complete. So, in fact, we don't even use protections at all at a high level when we're doing Slayer, or I don't even use them at the Queen Black Dragon. Soul Split and Turmoil is good. But I'm a higher level player, and I can understand why lower level players need those, but 50%, even before I got level 92 and 95 prayer, was more than adequate. Secondly, he wants armor requirements. So, what armor requirements are these? This is just a very confusing point this guy's making. He's not really making much sense here, as you can see. And the only thing that really comes to mind is that he wants rune armor to be level 40 again, which, okay, if you got level 40 defense, well, let's just check on that, and yeah, here we see 42 defense. So in this case, he could just use adamant armor and have the same bonus that he would be given with rune armor. It would look different, and it would probably be cheaper to get. But of course, this just seems to be a nostalgic point of view. Unless also he's referring to the defense requirements for Dragonhide. Well, let me just put it this way. You can't have a defensive item without having a defense requirement for it. And third, his third point is simply not true. Pre-EOC players get bad XP rates compared to EOC counterparts. The experience rate in Legacy is on par to that of using Revolution without thresholds or ultimates. So, point disproven there. And, you know, really with these kind of threads that appear, you wonder if these people actually do take the time to read the changes that have been put out and actually go and test them and engage in the combat system as a whole. And, you know, maybe if he did that, opened his eyes, he would actually be able to go out there and see what was going on and maybe blaze a trail as a new sort of player that he finds interesting. The next form of post I'm going to highlight is one called This Isn't Legacy Mode by PKare1946934. So, basically he says that you can't throw a special bar in again, yada yada yada, make it EOC. Please stop trying changing things like you did in EOC. Your game has suffered and we just want to see actual pre-EOC combat. Legacy still feels like EOC. I don't get how that's the case. You actually can just sit there and watch your character do things in much the same way you did before. The stats are different, mainly resulting from the balanced combat triangle, which is a positive at the end of the day. And combat triangle restrictions have been relaxed, so you can do some hybriding. Anyways, the truth is Legacy isn't designed to be a drop-in replacement for the old combat system. Those who read the news will actually know that Legacy is a way to have the look of the old combat system and the feel of revolution or momentum. It's not necessarily designed to go back to what we had before. That ship sailed. Jagex has said they're not going to be doing certain things that people want, such as 100% protection prayers and reverting the stats system. And also, to this guy, a word about the game suffering. The game hasn't suffered. The PvP community may have shrunk a little bit, but the game is in a much better position health-wise. And no, that's not just because PvPers are gone. I'm not one of those types. We have very few bots. Real-world trading has been stamped out. The game is making advancements towards the future of RuneScape. Now, the next one we see is titled, I Want 100% Protection Prayers by CCC1219. So he wants them back. This guy is actually asking for a toggle feature for the prayers, so that really isn't thought out well, because how would that work? Some people protecting at 100%, other people at 50%. Combat systems don't work like that. I'm sorry. So he feels that most players are against these protection prayers coming back to the game because it makes the game too easy. And the game, as I said previously, is already easy enough with 50% protection prayers. He also feels things like Solomon's General Store, Treasure Hunter, bank presets make the game easier, along with the ability bar and Make X. But those are features that are there for you to use, and if you don't want to use them, you're handicapping yourself. So it's a personal choice. So in this regard, yeah, okay, maybe this 100% protection prayer might make it seem easier, but as I said, it's already way too easy. All right, the next post is rather interesting. It is titled, Stop Freaking Doing This, Jagex. So this one basically says that the players should have their way, no matter what the case is. And, that's kind of what Power to the Players is supposed to be for, but even myself as an opponent to Power to the Players, I feel that the options provided in Power to the Players have at least been thought out by Jagex and would make a viable update. Now, he also says that automatically doing as the players suggest would lead to a happier community, and sure, this would lead to some people being happy with their ideas going to the game into the raw form, but it really makes sense. Would it be healthy for the game? And the answer is no. If everything just went in that the players wanted, that is not the way games work. And then he ends off with this punchline, stop balancing things unless we tell you to do it. Our opinion should have more weight, not yours. And following from this, he states that the players, with their more weight, will ultimately be able to overrule the people at Jagex who create RuneScape. And these people are paid quite well. They went to school, they know how to design software, and more importantly, they know how to design games. So the question is, do you want a group of players just automatically overruling what the game designers say? Or should this be left to the more experienced folk as we have currently going on in RS to a degree? So overall, I mean, these people really don't seem to get what's going on with this combat system, and these are just a bunch of samples that appear on the forums showing what exactly we've been dealing with and why this beta needs to be carried out so thoughtfully and so carefully. So if you do have something to say pertaining to the combat beta, please do make sure that your form is better than these people that I've shown you here. And finally, I'll end off by showing you this one winner here that was profiled in Tannis's Informer article. So basically he says, WTF, it sucks. It's not even close to 2014 weapons. It sucks. It's just 2014. I thought it would be like this. Then he links to a YouTube video which has been starred out, which is probably some sort of old... Overall, I just want to say that these are the kind of people that are commenting on Legacy currently, and because of this, we're not getting the same valuable feedback that we could be getting with regards to this beta. This is much the same thing that happened with the evolution of combat, and I would highly encourage everybody to further read Tannis's article on Informer at informer.rsbnb.com covering this exact topic. But if you like this video, please do feel free to subscribe. And remember, you can send your questions in. Link is in the video description down below, and we'll see you this weekend, everyone.